We've got a little bit of coffee. We've got some breakfast here. These are the little croissants I got at Aldi the other day. If you have an Aldi near you, I did put up an Aldi grocery haul where I share the things we usually get, our favorites from there, like our favorite cheap wines from there, snacks for our toddler, snacks for us that we like, desserts, dinner things. So I love Aldi. I've been going there since I was a kid. But these croissants are so, so good. This is my second one. I dug around. I grabbed some makeup I felt like using today to get ready. And I just figured we'd chat. I asked you guys on Instagram and on my YouTube story what y'all wanted me to chat about today. So I've got quite a few different ideas of things I want to talk to y'all about. Of course, this is a two-way conversation. I want to hear your thoughts on any of the subjects we discussed today down in the comment box below. I love reading through that. I wish I had the time to comment back to every single person every single time. It's not possible, but I do read them. And I love seeing you guys interact back and forth down there too. It's the teacher in me. I can't help it. Anyone else extremely ravenous when it's that time of the month? Because I can't be stopped. I am just like shaky hungry for the first like day or two. By the way, this bag I was just holding up, I love, and I've talked about and I've linked before, but they like don't sell it on Amazon, or like it's a different seller now. So I'm gonna do my best, because I always get questions about it, to find a link that works right now. But I adore it. It's really well made. It looks like a Louis Vuitton like designer dupe. It's spacious, like you can fit an insane amount. I haven't, of course, been able to travel since I got it a few months ago, so I'm like dying to travel just to use this bag for that. I'm insane. But I feel like that's part of the fun of traveling to me, is like having my little travel makeup bag. So things I already have on my face today, the Maelove Glow Maker. It's my favorite vitamin C serum, so I put that on. And then the Shea Moisture Glow Getter Pressed Serum Moisturizer. I get a little tiny bit of that and I press it into my skin as my moisturizer today. I put on my Paula's Choice SPF 30 that I love. It looks great under makeup. It kind of evens your skin tone out just a little bit as well. Editing Jessie here. I'm talking about the skincare I used this morning. If you saw my very, very recent, like the last video I put up, skincare favorites video, I mentioned that a step I was doing before the vitamin C serum was to put on the Ole Henriksen Glow 2.0 toner. And it was supposed to be like dark spot toning. Well, I hadn't really looked deeply into it. And I mentioned in that video, it was a lot newer to me. Like I almost didn't mention it. A lot of you guys pointed out it's actually meant to be used at night and it shouldn't be used with the products I was using. And again, you guys know, I'm not a dermatologist. I'm figuring this out the same way any of us are. I'm really glad you guys pointed that out, because I've stopped using it during the day because I don't want that to counteract what I'm doing with my antioxidant serum and sunscreen and all of that. I've stopped doing that. I'm going to eventually use it in the evening once I'm through with the other toner I'm using. Wanted to clarify it here because I felt so bad that I mentioned it in the video, and now I'm learning like, you were wrong, Jess, as usual. Wow, I ate that croissant way too fast. So starting with some lip balm, the Neutrogena Hydra Boost little hyaluronic acid lip treatment. I used to take out and about with me, this kind of product. I don't anymore just because of the application method. I'd rather only use it when I'm at home and I know my hands are clean, since you do have to like dip your finger into it. Who did I see the other day with something like this? Just went and put it on their lips that way. And I've never laughed harder, but at the same time, I was like, it's kind of genius. Since this isn't necessarily focused on the makeup, however, I will touch on the makeup a bit. I will have the makeup I'm using on the screen so you can see what it is. And of course, I'll link anything I use below. But let's chat, shall we? I want to start with this question because it's one that it's kind of been on my mind a little bit. Someone asked, how do you like to approach your makeup collection? Like, how do you use what you have? I almost touched on this. Okay, in all fairness, I actually did touch on this in another video, but I cut it out because I don't think it was the right space to talk about it, but this kind of video is probably perfect for that. Plus, I was a little ranty and okay. I feel very happy with where my makeup collection is now. If you're new to my channel or newer, I used to do declutter videos like crazy, and I am still planning on doing more declutter videos. That'll always be a part of my life because I think it's important to kind of get rid of things you're not using that aren't serving you, etc. I know that I'll never be a minimalist. Like, I will never have one foundation and one concealer and one powder when it comes to makeup, that is. I don't know that I'll ever be a minimalist across the board. Because of what I do here on my channel, where I do talk about and review makeup a lot, I do feel like there is a space for new makeup to come into my life, but that also means that eventually makeup needs to go out of my life. So one problem people have had with my declutters and other people's declutters too is that, well, why are you getting rid of all this makeup? Just, you're decluttering to reclutter. That's a phrase I see a lot in reference to YouTube creators that declutter, myself definitely included. And I get that. And that really got me down for a while because I'm like, yeah, like they're right. But the more I've thought about it, I'm like, you know, I enjoy trying makeup. And so for me, having taken myself off of a lot of PR lists has helped so much because now I can actually focus in on what I have. And when something like a Sephora sale happens, I can actually really think about like, okay, what do I want to buy? Because I genuinely myself want to try it, not just because it's the newest launch and so a company sent it to me or whatever. So I'm trying to approach it in that I'm still going to be trying new makeup. I don't ever want to get stale where all I'm doing is using the same makeup every time, although obviously I have favorites. That's the whole point. I'm trying to try makeup and find the best stuff that's out there. And so another issue people have with my declutters is that I would get rid of things that I'd previously recommended, even like somewhat recently. And it's hard to watch because I get that, but I want to explain my side of it too. You know, I get that if you're watching it and I had just recommended a foundation and you went out and bought it based on what I said, and then months later or a year later, you see me declutter it, you're like, what? I bought that because of you. The problem is when you do something like what I do and try out a lot of makeup in any given year, if I kept all of the foundations I genuinely liked, I would have 50 foundations in there all going bad because I can't possibly use it all up before it would ever go bad. You know what I mean? And so I used to keep foundations for reference or because I had recommended and I didn't want you to feel that way. But then it got to the point where I'm like, this is silly. I'm still a real person and I don't want shelves and shelves and tons of Alex stores full of makeup just going bad. That's dumb. I'm sorry, that's dumb. And so I would keep it for reference, but at this point I'm like, why am I keeping something for reference when A, if I've talked about it in a video, I can always reference a video where I mentioned it. But B, there are 10,000 blogs out there with swatches and, you know, comparisons, blah, 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 that I can use for reference, you can use for reference. So I'm like, that doesn't have to be my job. And I didn't want that part of it to be my job. I want to share what I'm enjoying. That's the entire reason I started my YouTube channel. Okay, I've blended this for far too long. Looks pretty good though, right? This is the Wet n Wild Dewy foundation you guys know I'm loving, mixed with my Missha BB cream in the shade 23. Oh, I am trying a newer product I did get. You're gonna see me try some of the new products very, very soon that I bought during the Sephora sale, but this is actually one of them and I just had to use it today. It's the Shiseido Synchro Skin Self-Refreshing Concealer. I have it in the shade 103 Fair. Oh no, I always do this. I get off track and then I cannot remember where I was. So I guess at the end of the day, my rule of thumb right now is I keep what I'm enjoying and sometimes I have to get rid of things I enjoy because I'm not reaching for it. So typically, sometimes that means I found something better. Other times it just means, you know, I have 5 foundations that do the exact same thing pretty equally. So even though I like it, I'm gonna pass it on to a sister, my mom, my mother-in-law, someone, so that they can enjoy it because otherwise it's just not getting enough use. So I think for the most part, most of you guys get that now. I think I've explained it enough. That blends in so beautifully. Hoo-wee, wow. I have used this a couple times and the few times I've used it the past few days, every time I'm like, oh my gosh. So I guess to answer the question fully, I like my approach right now. It's not, like I said, I'm not a minimalist with makeup. There's no doubt about that. I have a manageable collection. I don't feel overwhelmed with choices. And I absolutely understand the issues people have had with my declutters in the past, but I hope I've explained myself well enough. The reality is people that want to be upset about the way someone does something is just someone that probably, like, for whatever reason, someone might not like me. A lot of times that you can't change that. And so if someone doesn't like me and that's something they glom onto as a reason, cool. If that's why you need to not like me or whatever, or you just don't like my face or my hair or my lips or whatever, cool, man. It sounds like we're not meant to be friends and that's okay. You know, we're not all gonna like every single person. Has there ever been a person that has existed that everyone collectively agrees they like? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it just doesn't exist. So it's all good, man. There are certainly people in my life on YouTube, celebrities that a lot of people like that I don't like. And sometimes I can't pinpoint what it is. I just don't like them. And if that's you for me, well, where are you watching me right now? But another question I have gotten from someone recently, and this is actually why this was in my head, was, Jessica, I feel like your content's getting really stale because you're just using the same products over and over again. And I actually got really upset by that. But the more I've thought about it, I'm like, I don't ever want people to feel that way about my channel because I do want to try new things. But I also don't ever want to be the channel, at least I don't want to be anymore because I definitely used to be, where every video is me trying new makeup, and you maybe hear about it again in a favorites video, and then really never again. I would rather be the channel where you're seeing me use something over and over again, at least for a few months. So A, you get to see how it works, and B, you're seeing that if I'm really loving it, I'm really loving it. Like I said, I want my channel to be reflective of my actual life and not this weird pretend I'm a YouTuber, so I just try new makeup every single day. A, I wasn't getting full opinions of what I thought about makeup. That was the problem. I was consistently trying new things, so I'd be like, yeah, I just don't really like this foundation. I'm not really sure why. It was kind of this. I never could pinpoint what it was because I never had the time to fully try the product. So no, I will never be the one consistently, like every single week trying 15 new products, but I will always try new things. So don't feel like just because you're seeing this No. 7 powder a lot and the Wet n Wild Dewy foundation a lot, that means I'm just stuck and I'm never gonna change, because that's not true. These both came into my life very recently. So they're just exciting, they're new, and I'm loving them, you know? Okay. So a lot of questions about if we're gonna have another baby soon. I know sometimes it rubs me the wrong way when people ask it, and sometimes it doesn't. It's just one of those topics, you know? Tyler and I talk about it all the time. I feel like I answer this question all the time too. Giving you my teacher look, I've already answered that question. But I also know you guys don't watch every single video of mine. I don't watch every single video of most YouTubers either. If we are blessed enough to be able to have a second kid, we are open to it, just not yet. That's all there is to say about it. We know we want another one when we want Gigi to have a sibling, but A, who knows if we can or not, because I never want to assume that we can. And B, we're just not ready yet. We are enjoying Gigi the way she is. I mean, she's still a toddler and there's still challenging times, but we're just enjoying the way life is right now, aside from all the mess of the world right now. Speaking of Tyler, my husband does have a YouTube channel. It is Tyler Travels TV, and we put up weekly vlogs over there. I know a lot of you guys already know this, but if you're new, and so I got a lot of questions about, are we going to keep up with those weekly vlogs once the quarantine is over? Because you know we do Vlogmas, so like every day in December we do vlogs back and forth, like one day on my channel, one day on his. We've done that for years. And so during this whole quarantine thing, we decided to do weekly vlogs. They started on my channel. I was a little overwhelmed, so we moved them to his. And so that he edits them each week and puts them on his channel. We are actually planning on keeping that up as life eventually gets slightly back to some kind of normal. So yeah, we are going to try to just keep it up as much as possible. We might take weeks off here or there, depending on what's going on. And of course, in the future, when we travel again, we always vlog our travels. Yeah, we are planning on keeping it up, which I'm excited about, because for us, it's kind of like a home video. And weekly vlogs are the perfect amount because, you know, in a given day, sometimes we'll skip a day and not vlog at all. We might only vlog for a minute in a day. So we don't feel like our entire life is taken over by vlogging, because that has always been my fear. And Vlogmas can be hard for that reason alone. You feel like you can't do anything without capturing it on camera. And, you know, that takes away something in your life. So if we were to do that kind of thing every single day, it'd be too much. So I think weekly vlogs are a good amount for us. If you're someone that's never really been into vlogs and you're like, I don't get it, like why do people like them? You might like ours. We try to infuse a lot of different things, and even if you're not someone with kids, we try not to do too much kid stuff, too much adult stuff. Like we really try to vary the vlogs and keep it moving. So it's the kind of vlog I like to watch. So if you've never tried it, you might give it a try. I can link our vlog playlist up in the eye and of course down below. And yeah, I grabbed my e.l.f. New Classics palette. I haven't used it in a little while, and I really do love this. I might mix it with a couple of other things we're gonna see. Someone asked, would you ever do a run Disney race? Since you run a lot and love Disney, it seems great for you. Funny little story time here. So a few years ago, before we had our daughter Genevieve, my husband wanted to do the Dopey Challenge. And if you've never heard of it, it's actually insane. It's a 4-day race where you run a 5K, which is around 3 miles, 10K, which is around 6 miles, and then you run a half marathon and then a full marathon. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, okay? So he flew down like Wednesday, and I was still teaching, so I was working. I flew down Friday night, and I was gonna run the half marathon. I'd run a half marathon once or twice before that. I was like, okay, I can do it. And we love Disney, so we were all pumped. We get down there. My husband is insanely sick. Like if you've seen the vlogs from that time, they're kind of funny to watch. We were staying at Wilderness Lodge for the first time, and it was the best thing in the whole freaking wide world. But B, he was so sick. You can hear it in the vlog. It's like, it almost like, I'm like, it really grinds my gears to listen to him talk. I'm like, just shut up. Your poor vocal cords, just shut up. Well, there was a really big storm. So overnight, they canceled the half marathon just completely canceled it. And so I had flown down there for like 2 days for the half marathon, and it was canceled. So it was such a whirlwind of a day. And actually our mother-in-law was down there too, because she wanted to cheer him on, and she's a big Disney fanatic too. In the end, it was still a fun, quick little trip, but it stunk because the whole reason I was there was for that. And that was the only race they canceled. By the time Sunday rolled around, the marathon was on. But Tyler that was his very first marathon, and it was so cool to cheer him on there at Disney. And what's cool about them, they're really expensive races, but you get a shirt. I actually still have my shirt because I'm like, I don't care that I didn't. I had every intention of running it. So I have my shirt and I wear it all the time when I run. You run, especially for the longer races, you run through some of the parks, like through some of Epcot and stuff. And I just think that is the coolest thing in the world. Tyler, during the marathon, he ended up stopping and riding Expedition Everest in the Animal Kingdom mid-race. Like, you can do that. And I'm like, that is so cool. I'm just using the shade Cosmo. It's probably one of my absolute favorite shades in here. I use it all the time. I'm like actually got some digging going on in this pan for sure. It's just like a nice wash of color. That is the only experience with Run Disney I've ever had. I would love to do it again. Lately, when we've gone down, if you saw our last Disney trip in, I want to say like January, we stayed at the Fort Wilderness Cabins. That was one of the best experiences I've ever had. I loved it. And we went on runs through Fort Wilderness. We just trade off while Gigi was like still sleeping in the morning. And it was so fun. Like, I love being on vacation, no matter where you are, whether it's Disney or not. I love being on vacation and like that feeling of early morning, like drinking a little coffee and then like going on a walk or a run, whatever. And things are just starting to open up. And there's just something magical about that time of day, especially when you're on a trip and you're like finally relaxing. That was the shade Truffle there, another really good shade, that kind of light medium. So a lot of questions. I just had to let my dog out. Of course, he wants to be in here when I have a little croissant, but the second the croissant is gone, he's like, let me out of this room. His love for me is completely contingent on the smells of food. But I did get a lot of questions about like, okay, when is your next Disney trip? Like, what is your plans? Because as of the time I'm filming this, Disney, they just said in about a week or so, Downtown Disney or Disney Springs is starting to do a phased reopening. And so probably in another month or two, they might start thinking about opening the parks. We actually have a trip planned in July. We'll see. We've already canceled one trip and we had a Disney cruise that was canceled. So we've canceled a lot. Where is that? I wanted to use the MAC Little Pigment and Tan. This is just one of my favorites to just throw on top of just a light wash look. If we go in July, if it is open, we are not gonna bring Genevieve for obvious reasons. Obviously we'd probably still be wearing masks and things like that. And keeping a mask on that girl is not gonna happen. I can tell you that with 100% certainty. She is just at an age where she doesn't understand and it's not gonna happen. Plus, it's just too risky. And I'm not totally sold that it's a good idea to go in July. So, like I said, we'll see if it's even open. We'll see. And keep in mind, this is my husband's job. He's a Disney travel agent. Like, anytime new things open, he gets 10,000 questions in his inbox from clients, from prospective people wanting to go that want to know exactly about this menu and gluten-free options. And he needs to know this kind of stuff. So always keeping that in the back of your mind that if we're going, it's not always just for pleasure. We enjoy it. But he's researching and he is taking pictures and getting footage and writing things down and, answering questions for clients. So there's always that side of our trips. So this would be more like one of those. We've even talked about, if we do go, it's later July, if it's open, and if we do go, and even that makes me anxious just to think about, but if it actually happened, we might not even vlog it. Cause we're like, even telling you guys this, I already know there's going to be a barrage of comments like, Jessica, you can't go, blah, blah, blah. We don't even know if we're gonna, you know what I mean? It's so in the air for us. I'm having the same feelings y'all are having, the same anxiety of like, oh, I don't know. Like, I think it's too early. Maybe we should wait till fall. Maybe it should be Christmas. Maybe it should be 2021. We don't know either. So I'm saying all of this with a complete grain of salt that we're not even certain if we're going to do it. So I'd love to go to Disney again in the future. We shall see. We actually do have a Disney cruise in the fall. And I wonder about cruise lines. Like, will they even open? You know what I mean? Like, that's like one of those things that I don't know. But we do have one planned with the three of us that we've had booked for a while. It's called a fam trip or a familiarization trip. And so it's like offered at a very, 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 very steep discount with the understanding that it's kind of for work, for you to understand what it's like. We've been on one Disney cruise. We'll see again if A, they're even open, and B, if it even happens. By the way, that Fit Me powder, I just put in my T-zone. It just does such a good job like setting it, and there's a little bit of coverage, so it just, Actually, quite a few questions about if our home now is our forever home because we've been making improvements on it here and there. You know, we just redid our family room to be way more updated, and we did it on a pretty good budget. We did a lot of IKEA things, and I did do a video about that with links to the specific picture frames we use, like all those kinds of different things. I can link that video if you're curious to see what it looked like then versus what it looks like. It is completely different, and I give all of the details if you're wanting to kind of maybe update one of your living spaces to be a little more, you know, cutesy, Pinteresty, but still on a budget. We actually have been looking at houses. However, we've kind of decided we're not gonna move unless it is like the perfect home that we wanna be in for 10 plus years. We like moving. So we're not necessarily in the school of thought that any home is gonna be our forever home. But we definitely do like the idea of staying in the same town. And I also don't wanna move Genevieve around from school to school. So like once she's in school in a few years, that changes things. You know what I mean? So I told him, I'm like, maybe if we are gonna move, we should try to settle on someplace in the next few years before she starts kindergarten, you know? So someone asked, what was the first thing you did and didn't like when you first met Tyler? So Tyler's a couple years younger than me. And when we met, I was playing Jasmine, he was playing Aladdin in a local production of it here in town. I remember thinking he was like cute, but he was saying things that I was like, I disagreed hard with. And I remember, and he was like talking to other cast members and stuff, and I remember like listening to him being like, what an idiot, you know what I mean? But of course, since we were playing alongside each other, we got to know each other, and there was just kind of an instant something there. I can't explain it. There was just an instant something there. But I remember when we finally did start dating, I told him this recently, he would like wear things. This is the most shallow thing I'm ever going to say. I know it. Okay? Just bear with me here. He would wear like his grandparents' old, what are those glasses you wear if you have like, is it glaucoma or something where they're like the big, maybe like you have like had eye surgery and you wear the big black sunglass type things that are huge. He would wear those like ironically as sunglasses. Do you know what I mean? And so like he'd pick me up and I'd get in his car and be like, and I'm like, I never knew, like, is he being serious? Is he wearing them ironically? Like, what's the deal? So those kinds of things always bothered me, but it wasn't like in a way, like, it was just more like I never knew if he was being serious or not. In the end, he was always joking, and now, of course, he doesn't wear those glasses. I don't even think he has them. But it's just one of those things that I remembered being like, do I really want to like go on a date with this guy? I'm glad I did. And again, obviously none of that matters, and obviously it didn't matter enough that I didn't continue, but I just remember that so vividly, that feeling I had. Also, this Renaissance Flick liquid liner, it's like typically $9 at Ulta, and then suddenly it was on sale for like $4, and I didn't buy any. And now I haven't looked, but I've heard they don't even sell it on Ulta's site anymore. I'm like, what? This is the best liquid liner at such a like reasonable price for how often you have to replace liquid liner if you use it a lot like I do. I'm so bummed. Maybe they're like renaming it or redoing it. But I'm like, don't repackage it. Even the packaging was really cute. So I did get a question about like, okay, with running, do I have any knee pain or any injuries when I first started running? Actually, right now, ever since I had Genevieve, my left hip is just like not the same. Anyone else have that kind of experience? Whether it's from giving birth or not, but just hip pain. And, you know, I do all of the proper stretches before and after, and, you know, I drink plenty of water. I have good shoes. It's just one of those things. It's only when I do like slightly longer runs. But it you know, it hurts enough that it's very noticeable. And sometimes the last mile or two, I have to like stop and do a stretch mid-run and then keep going because it just hurts that bad. So our friend Ben, that's a runner, takes glucosamine as like a supplement to help with that. And so I literally just added that to my Amazon cart today. I'm going to give it a try. I've done a little research. The next time I go to like my doctor, I'm going to ask him what he thinks too, because I freaking love my primary care doctor right now and I freaking trust him. And he is also someone that runs. If you saw my running video of how I started running from basically just not being a runner to now, I will link that video. I am very proud of that video, and the response from you guys has been unbelievable, like to the point where it's made me emotional. So definitely check that out if you want to know what I'm talking about. But because I actually talk about my doctor in that and how something he said changed my view forever on running. It just changed everything. And that's suddenly how I lost all the rest of the baby weight everything. Like it's, anyway. So I'm gonna give the glucosamine supplements a try. It's one that has a couple of other things in it. And I figure, you know what, it's worth a shot to see if it helps. This question, how do you plan meals? What meals are you planning to make next? Honestly, there is no set system. We used to do this thing where we would have a month worth of meals and we'd have it on a calendar, but here was the deal. It was too much. It was too much planning all at once. And on top of that, it was too hard to keep up with because life gets in the way. You know what I mean? One day you suddenly have too many leftovers, and then the other day you had planned to eat leftovers, you don't have any leftovers. So everything just gets jumbled, and it was stressing us out more than helping us. What we have discovered works best for us, and perhaps one day in the future I will share like meal planning tips, our favorite cookbooks, our favorite sites for things, because I have gotten a lot of questions from you guys about that, and I think that would make a solid little video that just encompasses all of that. But in the meantime, we literally will just sit down with a pen and paper and some cookbooks and stuff and like our binder of recipes we've printed from online that we just love, and we'll just list out like 3 or 4 meals for the week that we want to make. And on the other nights, we'll do maybe a frozen meal, or we'll do leftovers because we typically end up with leftovers since there's 2 of us and a toddler. It has worked out so well. There's no stress. We don't pick which days we're going to do which meals. We just kind of write them on there, kind of decide which of us is going to make the meal, or if it's just you cooking, then you already have the answer to that. And it has worked out so well. That way for the week's groceries, I can just kind of go and I already know what I need. It's already on my list. Very simple. We just hang it on the side of the fridge. I think sometimes we all are striving for like the perfect, very specific system that is foolproof, but sometimes the best system is the simplest one. And this is something that has worked for us. It is so simple. It is straightforward. Okay, I'm gonna use something that I guess is discontinued. I somehow like at the buzzer got the Chanel Soleil Tan Chanel before like they were all gone and they're no longer making it this way. They're reformulating it or something. I don't know why. I used to have this long ago. It had gone bad. It was just old. So I got it recently for that Hilary Duff Vogue tutorial I tried. And because she loves this. And so I bought it. And then like literally a week later, everyone was like, oh my gosh, it's discontinued. I'm like, what? And what sucks is I love it. And I know one of my favorite YouTubers, Arna Elaine, also loves this. So very curious to see what ends up coming out as its like replacement and how it's different. It does have a strong smell, but I am going to use it because y'all, I just love it. And by the way, I am loving this e.l.f. Ultimate Blending Brush. Dana Ann here on YouTube loves this too. I think this is the brush she loves, and she ain't wrong. She ain't wrong. And it's just so easy. You don't even have to blend. With this, you just press it in, boom. Which is great because then it's not moving the foundation underneath it. I loved my Sephora one and I still do, but A, they don't make this one anymore, and B, you do still have to blend with that. With this, you literally just press it in, and then like if you need to, like that might be a little harsh, I'll just grab the side of my sponge that had some foundation and just press it in. It is seamless. So I'm actually pretty brokenhearted that this is being changed or whatever they're doing to it, because y'all, it's nice. And it's funny, back when I used to have this, it was something that I didn't like cream bronzer so much, so I feel like I didn't really know how to use it properly. Do you know what I mean? But now that cream bronzer is like definitely my thing, I love it. And I'm realizing more and more that bronzer is something that when I don't have it on, I'm like, ooh, I look a little off today. Like it really has become one of my favorite things. And this is definitely the one the past month I've been using the most. So stay tuned. It's expensive, but there's a part of me that's like, okay, when the new one is out, maybe I buy it and let you know what I think, because I don't want to keep talking about this, and then if the new one is crummy, then it's like, well, I'm not, but if they're awfully similar, my favorite blush, y'all already know what it is, the MAC Glow Play blush in So Natural. It's like a cream to powder kind of product. It's really, really quick and easy to apply. It stays on really well. It doesn't emphasize texture since it's not a powder blush necessarily. And this shade is just so perfect if you're near my skin tone. I really do think I'm gonna get another one of these. This question, how do you relax at home? I can't seem to get myself to chill on weekends after working from home. Girl, same. What is wrong with so many of us? Like I feel guilty if I take time for myself to just like sit down and do something I enjoy, like watching a movie, or if I'm watching a movie, I have to be doing something else too. What is wrong with me? Like I cannot allow myself to just sit and relax. So that has been something I've been working on, and I do think I'm getting a little better at. And it's really just me consistently saying in my head, Jessica, you need this, you deserve this. Like you're allowed to take a minute, just read a book with a glass of wine. You don't have to have something else you're doing or something for work getting done. Like, it's crazy how wired we are. And I did bring this up in a recent video. It might have been my last coffee chat, Get Ready With Me. I just feel like it's something that perhaps it's an American thing. And a lot of you guys commented and said, yeah, I really do think it is a pretty American problem. Like, where it's called, what is it? Was it in Eat, Pray, Love? She talked about, it's like the pleasure of doing nothing. And we struggle with finding the pleasure in doing nothing, just sitting and people watching, or just sitting and enjoying nature, or whatever it might be. And so that is a goal of mine, because that's unhealthy. It is unhealthy to not be able to do that. I laughed though, because the comments were so varied, because some of you guys were like, no, I have no problem sitting and chilling and vegging and watching YouTube. But like for me, if I'm sitting and watching something, I will be sewing a button back on a shirt, or I'll be eating, like I'll be doing something else. I just can't just sit there. A lot of questions about Tyler's travel business and how it's been affected with all this going on, because he is a Disney travel agent and obviously Disney is closed. You know, we're doing okay. Luckily, like, he has a YouTube channel, I have a YouTube channel that, you know, is another source of income for us. But if we were like solely dependent on that, you know, we'd be hurting. And so we're really blessed in that way. Hold on, I can't talk her this hard. This lip liner from Sephora is so creamy, you can just wear it as a straight up lipstick. But I am gonna put a little bit of a gloss on top. It's kind of a gloss. This is the Kapari Lip Love. I've had this for a while and I need to use it up before it goes bad, but it smells like real coconuts and I freaking love it. I used to treat it as more of a lip balm, but I don't know that it's like life-changing as a balm, so I'd rather use it almost as like a topper or a gloss. And I feel like that's a really nice tip if you are someone that you don't like liquid lipsticks, but you really want to be able to wear a lip color that's not going to move around like crazy. Just use a lip liner, color in your lips, and put a clear gloss. And I feel like at least you feel more comfortable. It's not moving around nearly as easily as a regular lipstick. Now, it's not going to have as long of a wear time as a straight up liquid lipstick, but it's going to look a lot better for longer than a regular lipstick. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, we'll be okay. And the other thing that helps his business, you know, when we do Disney vlogs, that gets a lot of other Disney-minded people to want to go to Disney. And so when we can't Disney vlog either, that hurts. I mean, think of it, it's almost in a way like marketing for him, even though we would be Disney vlogging regardless. We vlogged at Disney way before he was a Disney travel agent. So it's something we've always done, but now it has that dual purpose of we do it because we like it and we enjoy it, and he has his YouTube channel, but it's also marketing for him and research. Dang. It's just been interesting. I am excited to go back whenever, but we just want to be really smart about it. And like we said, we're definitely not going to bring Gigi the first time we go back. By the way, those hair clips I did get on Amazon. I can link. I've been really enjoying using those. I feel very vampy today. This shirt is from Amazon, and the only complaint I have, I was actually just talking about this in the vlog, kind of showing what I was wearing, is that this, unless you pull the shirt back, like if you don't, it's a little big on the neck. Do you see that? But like, as long as it's kind of pulled back, it's just fine. So I love doing these videos. It's funny, every time I get to the end of one of these, I just want to keep going because I enjoy doing this so much. And that's why you see them every like 3 or 4 weeks on my channel, because I like look forward to doing these. I'm so glad it became a series on my channel. If you enjoy this style of video, subscribe. I do these every few weeks, as I mentioned. And of course, subscribing is free and it helps you find my videos easily as I upload them. I always have my most binge-worthy playlist down in the description box if you just feel like binging some videos, and some recent fave videos I've done I will have up in the eye and down below too. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed. Thanks for getting ready with me today and chatting, and I'll see you in my next video on Wednesday. Bye.